Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. Of course, it's the 4th of July, or Independence Day, as it's called here in the United States. Of course, in my view, we never were independent, never will be independent. We've always been enslaved by one group or another. In fact, the Founding Fathers themselves were the elites of their day. They owned tremendous amounts of land. They wanted to enshrine the fact that they were the elite of this new supposed country, when in fact we're a corporate spin-off of the British Empire. Now, in recent times, we've seen a continued degradation of this country, quote-unquote, or corporatocracy more likely, elitist encampment per se, where we have seen enshrined the idea that corporations have more power, more dignity, more purpose, more human characteristics than humans themselves. So, we should see that Hobby Lobby and other religious so-called corporations, which are non-living, totally constructed, artificial entities, can nonetheless have religious views. Is it too far to consider that companies may then also have feelings and emotions, and perhaps can sue real, actual, living people who say bad things about them because it hurts their feelings? Well, if an immaterial construct can have religious beliefs, then I guess a fucking immaterial construct can have emotions as well. This corporate/country that is run by the elitists, the multinational corporations and finance capital for the most part, is a complete shithole and destined for the dustbin of history, because it fails to learn from the many motherfucking mistakes it has made over the years of its fucking existence. Every time anything is done which overturns or changes a system, especially since the New Deal happened, has been to roll back everything that has been done in this country to enhance and to help individuals and people, real living entities in this fucking shithole, shitbag, fucking fascist corporatocracy motherfucking hellhole that you call the United States of America. And don't forget the incorporated and trademark on the end of there, which are probably owned by Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan Chase by now, or some other rich elitist group. So, what do we have today? What is the final end result of our supposed fucking independence? And what is it that we're supposed to be celebrating today? That we threw off the yoke of slavery from the United Kingdom and the Empire? No, I don't think so, because we're still a corporate dominion. If not owned outright, in fact, owned behind the scenes. And all of the money that is generated in this country is generated through greed, rapaciousness, and attacking of the very people that this country is supposed to be a beacon to around the fucking world. And we stand at the brink of numerous wars, and it's only by virtue of the fact that President Obama, who is the figurehead of the corporate oligarchy, it's only by virtue of the fact that he's just doesn't want to do anything. He's just a stupid fucking idiot. I guess he just wants to golf and play out the last days of his presidency for the next 2 years. Which I guess is good in one sense, because he can't be actively fucking us or sticking a fucking knife into our goddamn spine over and over again. But on the other hand, it sure would be nice to have somebody who finally stood up for the values and for the things that this country once stood for. Or at least theoretically once stood for. Because I think we can all agree that there were times in the history of this country where things were generally better off than they are now. But we look at the absolute fucking lie that is presented to us today, that the economy is booming, the stock market, look at the Dow, it's up to 16,000, it's almost 17,000, record breaking. But does anybody in the wider context of the American public get any of the benefits of this? Fuck no! Because every advance, everything that has ever been done, everything that has changed or movements that have been made over the last several decades and further back in time have been to erode the rights and protections of individuals, actual living flesh and blood people, and been given to imaginary constructs like corporations, finance capital, where money is made from thin air and then profit is generated on the thin air of that, and then profit is generated on the thin air of that as you bet against bet against bet against bet against bet. And that's where all this fucking bullshit is coming from. So what exactly is there to celebrate today? I guess we can celebrate the fact that we've freed corporations from the idea that they have to represent a benefit to the corporation, that they, or the community at large rather, and that they need to justify their corporate charterdom. So, but instead, what we have today is we have corporations that can have religious beliefs, and that they must be protected, and they can trump federal law. So that in effect, a religious corporation, which can't have religious ideas, can pick and choose whatever federal law they want to follow based on their beliefs as to whether or not they need to do that. So we've enshrined the corporation as a living being with more and more aspects of what it is to be a living being. And I guess that's the best thing that this country has ever produced. The idea that corporations are the be-all and end-all, that perhaps they're the end of evolution as we see it. And then we look ahead to see the inevitability of Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party, which may or may not happen, and stupid people, the same stupid people who stupidly believed that stupid Obama was anything other than a neoliberal, and if you were to put him in the old school camp of right-left, would be in the center, slightly to the right, probably pretty close to Reagan in his ideology. So you have Hillary Clinton, who all these people are just clamoring to vote for in the future, thinking that somehow she's going to be the savior that's going to bring about the super great wonderfulness for everybody in this goddamn shithole. You know, and it just makes me sad. It makes me sad to see people line up to be suckers once again. You know, if people had any idea about just exactly where they stand in the pecking order and the scheme of things in this fucking shitberg, I think a lot of people would be very upset to learn that the individual human, the actual flesh and blood living person in this country is continuously, over and over, again and again, fucked and raped by the people in power in this country, and every decision that comes down from the Supreme Court, every law that is passed, every change in societal patterns, everything that is done in accordance with that idea, to perpetuate the values, to perpetuate the ideas, and to perpetuate the continued domination and complete cutthroat fucking of everybody in this country by corporations. So I guess that's the best thing that we could be thankful for here. July 4th, 2014, the rise of the fucking corporation. The mastery of the corporation is the end result of fucking evolution, because they can have fucking religious beliefs, they can have fucking feelings, they can have all the fucking things that we used to think that human beings, living flesh and blood people, were the only ones that had. But fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Be thankful today and celebrate with me 4th of July, the day of independence for corporations, and the ability for them to fuck you, rape you, take every fucking thing you have, and leave you with fucking nothing. Thank you. I'm so fucking happy. Let me go blow up some shit so I can see just how proud I am of my fucking country/corporation for enshrining corporations as the be-all and end-all of everything in the history of the world. Boy, are we so much better off. Fucked every day. Unemployment hidden. And all the other calamities of this fucking disastrous economy. Hidden away and never talked about. Everybody talks, crows about the giant, huge masses of the stock market and how that indicates our economy is so great and wonderful and super advanced and everything's getting better. While there are people starving on the streets, homes being foreclosed upon, banks cheating and thieving and robbing people right and left, laundering drug money, corporations doing anything everywhere that they wish, and people being trodden into the fucking dirt. So yes, by all means, let us celebrate Independence of the Corporation Day today. Thank you. Good day.